Okay, let's dive deep into a really fascinating story today.
Yeah.
We're looking at this musical journey, right? Spans decades. 3 brothers, North Wales.
Mm-hmm.
It's got everything. Unexpected starts. Like crazy highs, crushing lows, and this thread of, resilience and family just running right through it.
And the source we're using, it's a personal account, so it gives us this really, intimate view of their whole path.
Okay.
We'll trace it from the very, very beginning, see how the band, the music kind of changed over time.
Yeah.
All those moments, they got so close to making it big.
Those near misses.
Exactly. And, what actually brought them back together after being apart for years.
Right. So our mission here for you listening is to really unpack this story.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out the key bits, the lessons maybe, the surprising stuff.
Yeah, what made it unique?
And explore what kept them going, Through all of it. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the beginning. It's maybe the most surprising part. We're talking 1996, Tywyn, North Wales. Small place.
Right.
And the older brothers, Steve, he was 12, and Chris, 11. They weren't dreaming of music initially.
No.
The spark came from, a pub. Their parents, their dad, Pete, was the local milkman. They saw this guy, Scott, playing piano.
Just some guy in a pub.
Yeah. And the very next day, Scott comes around to their house.
Wow, that quick.
That quick. Starts teaching Steve piano on this old keyboard they had.
Uh-huh.
Realizes Chris is good with a guitar, starts teaching him too. Right there, in the living room.
Just like that, a band starts forming.
Pretty much. And the first songs they learned, talk about a mix.
Oh, yeah. What were they?
Oasis is Wonderwall.
Gosh.
Meatloaf's Anything for Love.
Okay, bit different.
And Metallica's Nothing Else Matters.
Whoa. Wonderwall, Meatloaf, Metallica. That's eclectic.
Right. For kids just starting out.
Absolutely. But then the youngest brother, Lewis,
Oh.
he wasn't part of it yet.
No, yeah, he was only 6. But apparently Steve and Chris are practicing Wonderwall. Lewis just wanders in and starts singing along.
No way.
Yeah. And the source says he sounded amazing, really good.
Wow. So suddenly it's the 3 of them.
Just like that, a proper band of brothers. And, every band needs a name.
True. Where did Excel come from?
Oh, their mom had Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell album,
Okay.
and they just sort of rhymed it. Bat Out of Hell,
Makes
Bell
sense.
Out of Cell.
I like it. So 3 songs, a name. What next?
They decided to enter a local talent competition. Talacker Beach Club,
Bit ambitious? Or just having a go?
maybe a bit of both. They played their 3 songs,
The big 3.
the big 3.
And they won.
Get out, first competition.
Yep. Won it.
Amazing. What was the prize? Must have been exciting.
Well, the listed prize was 100 quid
Nice.
and a case of alcohol.
Oh, right. For a 12, 11, and 6-year-old, probably not ideal.
Exactly. So the manager apparently did a quick swap, took the booze, gave him an ice bucket full of sweets instead.
Ah, much better. Probably went down a treat. Definitely more appropriate. And that win, it gave them a real boost.
Yeah, I bet.
And this is where Pete the milkman comes back in, their dad.
Right, his connections.
His milk round. He started going to the pubs and clubs on his route
Uh-huh.
and basically offering them free crates of milk if they let the boys play a gig.
You're kidding? Trading milk for stage time?
Seriously,
Yeah.
that's what the source says. Genius, really.
That's brilliant. And it worked.
Totally. They started getting gigs around Tywyn, then all along the North Wales coast. Parents driving them everywhere, obviously.
Of course.
And it snowballed. Soon they were doing weekend gigs across the whole UK.
Wow. So young.
Yeah, and the source mentions packed venues, people just loving these young kids, playing instruments, singing their hearts out.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But they were still mostly playing covers at this point.
Mostly, yeah. But
Yeah.
playing those songs, it naturally made them want to write their own stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Inspired by what they were playing.
Exactly. And they didn't waste time. By 1997, they're in a proper studio in Llandudno,
Recording originals.
recording their first 4-track CD. So 4 original songs.
What kind of style? Was it like the covers?
It was diverse, just like the covers, actually. There
Right.
was each night and day kind of commercial pop, Time of Change, more Brit pop, indie.
Ah.
Then You Are the Light, a rock ballad. And get this, Smoke Up the House, described as electronic rap rock.
Rap rock. In 97. from them.
It tells you something about their range, even then. Super young, trying all sorts.
Definitely. So they have this CD. What do they do with it?
They sent it off to the National Band Register, the NBR.
Right, for copyrighting the songs. Standard practice.
Yeah. But this is where things took a turn. The guy running the NBR, the head guy, he actually listened to it.
Oh. Not just filed it away.
No, he listened, and he was apparently blown away by the quality, especially when he saw how young they were.
Okay, that's significant.
So significant that he actually contacted their parents.
Wow.
And he decided to feature their CD on the NBR's Best of the Year compilation.
Whoa, okay. Why was that such a big deal?
Because that compilation went out to everyone. Like, everyone in the UK music industry. Managers, labels, publishers, the people who make things happen.
So suddenly they're on the radar. The industry radar.
Exactly. Put them right in the spotlight. And things started moving fast after that.
Like what?
Later that year, they played this big charity concert, the Arndale Centre in Manchester. It was for the '96 bombing appeal.
Right. Huge event. Lots of people.
Thousands. And someone saw them there. A management company called Captain Courageous.
Catchy name. Were they legit?
Oh, yeah. They already managed a band that was topping the charts at the time, so proper connections.
Okay, so they get signed for management.
Yep. And that kicked off this, whirlwind period described in the source.
How so?
For the next few years, and remember, they're still at school this whole time.
Crazy.
They're constantly showcasing for industry people, labels, publishers, other managers, loads of interest.
Anyone notable?
Yeah, they ended up being represented by managers who also handled, the Spice Girls.
No.
And Five, and even Mike Peters from The Alarm.
Big names. Serious players.
Absolutely. They're writing hundreds of songs, playing hundreds of digs. It's intense.
Must have been exhausting alongside school.
Totally. But it leads somewhere big. They land a publishing deal with Universal Music.
Universal. Okay, that's major.
Huge. And they get an advance, upfront money.
Right. What do they do with it? Buy gear. Tour van.
Nope, they built their own recording studio.
Get out.
Oh, yeah.
In their parents' back garden.
Seriously. That's amazing. Talk about taking control.
Yeah, shows that independent streak early on, doesn't it?
Definitely. And then New York.
Yeah, the New York trip. This was 2000. RCA records another massive label, flies them out.
First class treatment.
Oh, the works. According to the source, limos, fancy restaurants.
Nice.
Backstage passes at Madison Square Garden. The whole VIP experience.
Living the dream.
Eating up to playing showcases for all the big U.S. labels and publishers. High-pressure gigs.
Extremely. But they nailed it. RCA offered them a record deal.
Wow. RCA. The big time. This is it.
You'd think so. Three brothers from town, milkman's sons, landing an RCA deal in New York. It's the fairy tale ending.
But that's she. Sense a butt coming.
Yeah. This is where it gets, heartbreaking.
Oh, no.
The source says the RCA deal, it fell through. Didn't happen.
What? Why? After all that?
The reasons given are disagreements between RCA and the band's management at the time.
Management issues again?
Yeah, and just bad management decisions is the phrase used.
That's brutal to get that close.
Devastating, surely. For them, for their parents who'd put in so much.
Absolutely.
And the really tough part, the source emphasizes this wasn't like a one-off. It became a pattern.
What do you mean a pattern?
They'd get right to the edge, major breakthroughs, seemingly moments away, deals on the table.
Yeah.
And then, poof, collapsed every time.
Why, though? Always management.
Seems like a mix. Technicalities, disagreements, or sometimes just simple, pure bad luck, as the source puts it.
Wow. Pure bad luck. That's rough.
There's even this one story. This really respected industry guy, Louis Parker, Concord International Artistes.
Huh?
He sees them play in their living room, offers to manage them on the spot. Seems like a great fit.
Okay.
Weeks later, he tragically passes away.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it up. It's like fate was actively working against them.
It feels like that reading it, doesn't it? Just constant setbacks right when things looked promising.
What does that do to you? That cycle of hope and then just disappointment over and over.
It's got to test you, right? Immensely. But this is where that resilience really comes through in the account.
How so?
They learned the hard way that they just had to be strong, had to pick themselves up every single time, build that toughness, and maybe rely less on the industry machine.
Right, take control themselves.
Exactly. Double down on the things they could control. The writing, the playing, the recording. They were already doing a lot of it in their garden studio anyway.
It's true. Self-sufficient.
And funding it themselves, too. Plus, crucially, they had their parents. The source calls them the other two loving, silent members of our band. That constant support was vital.
That's lovely. So this whole tough period, the near misses, it actually forged something in them.
Yeah, this incredible self-reliance and, well, grit. Inner strength.
So, okay, RCA falls through, other deals collapse. They don't just give up.
Nope. They keep going, they evolve.
Change direction.
Yeah. Post-2000, they sort of reinvent themselves, become a 5-piece rock band.
New name.
New name, Trans Am. Brought in 2 other guys, Gary and Ole.
Okay, so a different lineup, different sound.
More rock-focused. Started playing the UK underground rock scene. Did some decent gigs over in Ireland, too.
And did this new version find any success?
It did, yeah. In 2003, Trans Am won this National Battle of the Bands thing. Signal One Radio ran it.
Another competition win.
Yep. And the prize for this one was pretty cool.
What was it? Not sweets this time.
Ha, no. They got to play at Britannia Stadium, Stoke City's ground.
Whoa. In front of how many people?
18,000.
Wow. Opening for who?
It was a lineup with big pop acts at the time, so quite a contrast, but a massive audience.
Huge moment for them. Proves they still had it.
Definitely showed their persistence. And they kept evolving. Around 2005, another project starts.
Another one. What was this?
Called Frail. This time aiming for, like, commercial alternative rock, big anthems, that kind of thing.
Always changing, always creating.
Seems like it, but,
Yeah.
you know, all those years in the industry, the pressure, the constant push, the disappointments.
It gets a toll.
It eventually did. The source says the exhaustion kind of caught up. And in 2010, they had what's described as an inevitable brotherly breakup.
The band split.
Yeah, went their separate ways.
So after all that, from childhood right through, they finally stopped playing together.
For a while, yeah. They needed a break from each other in that context, I guess.
Makes sense. So what did they do then? Just stop music?
Oh, no, not at all. Music was too ingrained, I think. They just pursued individual paths for a bit.
Okay, like what?
Well, Lewis and Steve actually teamed up again in 2013, but as a duo this time.
A duo. What style?
Something totally different called Mac, high energy party rock vibe. The source mentions influences like the Beastie Boys, House of Pain.
Funky? Did they do much?
They actually got quite a bit of exposure. They were on the X Factor in 2015.
Oh, right. I remember that. National TV, big audience.
Exactly. So they were still out there performing.
What about Chris?
Chris went solo, performing as Chris Mack. He focused more on playing classic rock covers, you know, the stadium stuff, Bon Jovi, Bryan Adams, Def Leppard.
Okay, playing the hits.
Yeah. And Steve, besides the Mac thing, just kept writing and recording constantly, solo stuff.
Prolific guy.
Very. All sorts of styles, rock, pop, even soundtrack music, electronic, country, just creating.
So still active musically, just apart.
Exactly. The core unit, the 3 brothers together, that was on hold.
Until
2021.
Yeah.
Fast forward a decade or so.
What happened then?
The source talks about this realization setting in among all 3 of them.
A realization about what?
About what they were missing,
Yeah.
you know? That unique thing that happened when the 3 of them worked together, the chemistry, the specific talents each one brought.
Uh-huh. You can't replicate that.
Exactly. And maybe, you know, time passing, life experiences, they got a clearer sense of what actually mattered.
Perspective.
Yeah. And that led them to, well, talk, put the old differences aside.
And get back together.
Exactly. They decided to reform as McElroy, just their family name.
Wow. How did that feel, according to the source?
It describes it really nicely. Like a weight had been lifted, like a missing gift had been returned. They actually got back together at their parents' house.
Full circle. Back to the living room almost.
Pretty much. And they set a new kind of mission this time.
What was that? Not chasing deals anymore.
Seems not. It was more about just writing songs. Songs they felt needed to exist. The soundtrack of life, as they put it.
Songs that need to be. I like that. Regardless of fame or anything else.
Yeah. It shifts the focus, doesn't it? Back to the creation itself. The intrinsic value.
It really does. Powerful change in perspective. So where are they now? McElroy today.
Well, they're doing it. They're back in their studio, the one in the garden, presumably.
Still there. Brilliant.
Writing and recording what the source calls epic new songs. Been busy the last few months.
Making music together again.
And making videos, too. They filmed one for a track called Give Me Tonight.
Okay, where'd they film it?
Get this at the a celebrity castle. Grichich Castle?
No way. The one from the TV show.
That's the one. And the kicker, it's literally 10 minutes down the road from where they grew up.
Oh, that's perfect. Talk about bringing it all back home while still doing something new and cool.
Isn't it? Great symbol for the whole journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's their outlook now? Still hoping for that big break.
It sounds more grounded, but still hopeful, you know? They mentioned that old saying, it only takes one song to make it.
Yeah.
You never know.
So they keep writing, keep putting the music out there. If that big success happens, great. Amazing.
And if not?
If not, well, the source quotes them saying it's already been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, you can't argue with that after hearing everything.
Right. They've lived it. And that drive, that persistence, even now, it links right back to that resilience they built up during all those tough years.
It really does. It's just about making the music now. The belief that the songs themselves matter.
Exactly. The core motivation seems to be the creation itself.
So when you step back and look at the whole thing, I mean, wow. From kids learning covers in a living room,
Winning sweet.
using milk rounds for gigs, navigating the whole music biz, major labels, deals falling through,
Multiple times.
changing bands, breaking up, going solo, and then finding their way back together. It's quite something. It's an incredible arc. And I think for you listening in, the takeaways from this account are pretty powerful.
Like what stands out most?
Well, obviously, perseverance, right?
Yeah,
Just refusing to quit when things got incredibly tough.
definitely.
The power of family, too, that constant support system, having that shared purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this shift towards the end, valuing the act of creating something you believe needs to be, whether the world notices on a grand scale or not.
Yeah. So, thinking about their journey,
Mm-hmm.
what does it tell you about creative fields, how unpredictable they are? Talent isn't always enough, is it?
Clearly not. Luck, timing, management, so many factors.
And what about that drive, that need to create that brought them back together, even without guarantees? What does that say?
It says something profound about the creative impulse itself, I think.
Yeah. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you to chew on based on this story.
Go on.
Maybe making it, the big record deal, the fame, all that. Maybe that's not the only measure of a successful creative life.
Right. Could the real value be somewhere else?
Could it be in the journey itself? The relationships, like with family, the resilience you build, or just the simple act of putting music or art or whatever it is into the world because you feel it needs to be there.
After hearing this whole story, the near misses, the comeback,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? What really defines a successful creative life? Something to think about.